It's Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I read to you headlines and I share with you my thoughts and ideas about those headlines. If I have any thoughts and ideas about the headlines, the story, the subject matter at large that I want to share. But it's not news. As the title says, it's just my notes on the news. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. We are working on 1,000. So if you are one of my first 1,000 subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And if you're not, then what you waiting on? Go on, hit that button. Come on now, we gotta go. We got this news today. Okay, thank you. Welcome, Fabulites. Hey, whoever joined us. Look, I'm yelling like you can hear me better if I yell louder. Let us proceed with our notes from the news feed. Tennessee baby born with bullet wound after mother attacked. Welcome on. I think this child had a literal wound, but it kind of made me think about the spiritual and emotional wounds that children have from the things that we experience in our mother's bellies. So, because I imagine if the child was physically touched, the child was touched in lots of other ways as well. France avalanche, 3 skiers killed in Pyrenees, rest in peace. Avalanche, that's when the snow falls down, right? Just like a mudslide, a snowslide, that type of thing. Lerone Benett, former editor for Ebony and Jet, dead at 89. Rest in peace. The name seems vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure if it might not be familiar for some other reason. So, peace for you and the family. And I guess, hey, it's a cardinal in the backyard. Thank you for, I guess whatever service that you've done to the Black community and to the world through your work with Ebony and Jet and whatever other work you did. May your transition be smooth and may your family and our communities be at peace. Black Mississippi cop fired, rehired, then moved to night shift for daring to confront Confederate flag wavers. In Mississippi, when they opened this new civil rights museum, at the same time they opened a Mississippi history museum, there's some weird thing. Now I don't live there anymore. There's some weird thing going on that I was sort of like, hey, welcome on. There's some weird thing going on where I was kind of like, what's going on? What this other museum seemed like it's a Confederate history museum next to this, it's some deal, some political deal that was worked out that looks real type shady to me. So, I guess I'm surprised that the cop was rehired after he was fired for daring to confront somebody with a Confederate flag. So we'll see, let us send an aura of protection, vibrations of protection around, him and all of us. My mother said somebody calls the white folks invaders. In South Africa, and she's really taken to that. We have this thing where we're not, we trying to find the language that expresses the bullskit that is the bullskit, right? Lynette and Stanley. Skit, bullskit. Reverend or Rail, Jordan L. Jones cast in comedy pilot. I don't know what that is. Monique Blast, radio host. We walked in and you didn't even address us. And she did this during the actual interview. I guess partway through the interview, the person cooled out, or she felt that the person cooled out, and she like, thank you for the like. She like, you ain't even, the reason I didn't speak to you is because you didn't say hi to me. And they like, well, I didn't speak to you because I was busy when you came in. And she like, well, I had a show when you busy. You say, hey baby, how you doing? And I'm like, that makes sense to me, because I know when you run a business, if someone walks in the door, even if you're busy, you want to acknowledge them and be like, I'll be right with you. I'm gonna finish up whatever I'm doing or whatever. So, this whole Monique thing, I feel like there are so many different layers to what could potentially be going on. Her personality may be problematic, and in addition to that, she is experiencing, I believe, hostility as a Black woman who's opening her mouth. They like, just shut up and be quiet and go shave your legs and dye your hair. Like, they have so many criticisms of her appearance. But anyway, so she's still out here, doing what she do. Thank you for the light. 4 pet food brands have been recalled after dogs and cats fell ill and died. You know, the pet food industry is sort of like the food industry for people. Hey, Rowdy Chica 59, welcome on. Good to see you. It's sort of like that industry for people. Like, we're almost at the point where they want to feed us pellets. As a matter of fact, we saw probably about a month or 2 months ago, we talked about notes on the news feed where in Brazil, they were trying to develop pellets to feed to the poor people, sort of like kibbles for your dogs. Like in the raw food community, I just heard kibbles, like Kibbles and Bits as a brand of dog food, but in the raw food community, they call the kibbles. I'm not going to get any homework done today. All these live streams. Pieces. If you aren't pissed off, you aren't paying attention. Yapo. I can't, but I caught that yesterday. I was like, okay, I can probably remember what this acronym stands for. I'm gonna try to keep it moving because I'm supposed to do Black Lightning. I'm supposed to do Be Fabulous You today, and it's like the day is almost gone. Welcome. I appreciate you being here. Oxfam scandal. Ex-Haiti director denies paying for sex. He says that he's been involved with different people, you know, here and there. And when I was skimming the article, this man, hey Frank G, this man has had a history of being in Black and brown countries, having sex with Black and brown women and girls. And I'm sure that there's been coercion in it. And I'm sure there's a power differential. I'm sure that just in the same way that our girl Ernestine, Miss Steen on Underground, I maintained that even though she was dealing with the men, and even the light-eyed girl at the end of the show who was dealing with the man, remember her, who got all kind of the big head? She was just young and foolish, but she ain't had no real power in the situation. They just trying to make the best they can out of a jacked up situation. These old white men who started off as young white men with property and power are going all over the world, taking advantage, invading the bodies and land masses of Black and brown people. I think that might be their nature, or they've certainly developed a habit of it. If it's not their natural nature, it certainly, you know, seems to be built in. But anyway, I was really tired of seeing headlines about Oxfam, and I'm kind of like, what's really going on? Because I was just talking to somebody else today. You know, when you start seeing certain stories in the news, and we know that the news is not about, for the most part, it's not about sharing information. It's about advancing a corporate agenda. So what's the corporate agenda going on with Oxfam? But he's been in a whole bunch of charities, but I'm kind of like, what's really going on? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, you know, we keep it moving. We try to keep our eyes and our consciousness open to understand. Bokeem Woodbine to star in Eric Holder-inspired CBS drama pilot, Main Justice. And I think that it focuses on Eric Holder, who was the first Black attorney general. I didn't know he was the first Black attorney general. And now when I saw Bokeem Woodbine, his name, I was kind of like, that name seems familiar. Remember right at the end of Underground, before they canceled it, the guy that got blinded? I think that was Bokeem Woodbine, right? I'm so bad with some people's names. I'm terrible. This low-cost bamboo home, yeah, that was him, okay, can be built in just a few days. No professional builders required. You see story after story of these, like, you know, it only takes a couple hours, a few days, these prefabbed houses. I don't really know what that's about, but it's caught my attention. Scientists use DNA analysis and radiocarbon dating to combat, hey, Phone Jones, welcome on, lady, to combat ivory trafficking. So they can, you know, if you have on a piece of ivory, oh, this is old ivory, this isn't new, they can carbon date it to figure out if we just killed the elephant, you know, last week for his tusk or her tusk, or if we, he was killed. Yeah, it would be nice to see him. So this Bokeem Woodbine is supposed to be in a CBS drama pilot called Main Justice, so look for it. Or if we killed them a long time ago for their ivory. Now, I hope that when the whole ivory thing started, that it was just like, well, the elephant is dead, and so let's just, you know, we could use this tusk. I hope that we didn't start off initially killing animals for, you know, some stuff. Like, I just kind of feel like it's so cruel and it's so jacked up, especially what they do to the elephants now. It makes me sick. you know, yeah, it makes me sick. Berlin jury president Tom Tykwer says hashtag Me Too should focus on the issues, not the individual. I agree 100%. I don't think it should be like, oh, we really don't like him, so we gonna go after him, but he okay, so we not gonna go. I feel like what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I feel like, you know, as black and brown people, as women, if you're correct, you're correct. If you're incorrect, you're incorrect. None of us is perfect all the time. We all have to, you know, as hard as it is, be receptive to, you know, feedback and guidance. But at the same time, we have to be able to say, you know, look, I love so-and-so. I love my mama. She great. She wonderful. She's done this. She's done that, but she's not perfect. I love President Obama. You know, he got a dark-skinned black woman as a wife. We like that. But he was still an agent of the United States government. I mean, how you gonna be president of the United States and not be, you know, this is an imperialistic, capitalistic, colonial nation. I mean, so we, you know, there are some things that I can love about you, and all of us, you know, not just him, but we all have to, you know, be correct with ourselves and with each other as much as we can. I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I don't like to be criticized either. People be coming on talking about me. I don't like it. But we got to move on and focus on, you know, be real and be truthful. So Me Too, all of that, you know, just, you know, yeah. Okay, New Zealand man fined for drink driving motorized cool box. You know those blue cooler things that have the handle and they might have like some spaces for people to put their alcohol or their drinks or whatever on, but it's like just the plastic cooler. So these people in New Zealand put them on like look like it's like a little it's like wheels with a motor. It's not nothing sophisticated, and I guess that they ride them around and they can go up to 18 miles an hour, and so people are getting fined for driving them drunk and driving them without a license. And I'm like, they just look like a cooler, like, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Spanish woman's sexist rejection letter sparks furor. So they told her she applied for a job. They like, you know, we not going to hire you because we need a man, because we have big clients like Coca-Cola and we need a man who can do the job. And so she spread that letter all over the place. She knew people with Coke. So they done lost their contract with Coke. But, you know, I think it's fun. I don't know if I think it's funny, but I think it's interesting that they just like came out and said, we not going to hire you because we need a man. I think a lot of times people don't get hired because we want a white person or because we want a man. But who out here saying it? I mean, it just seems kind of like, I don't know. It seems kind of foolish, but I guess it's good that they said it because then, you know, I guess they got in trouble. India woman dies after hair caught in go-kart wheel. I'm going on, you know, I'm going to ride the go-kart. Her and her husband, and I think her son, they ride in the go-kart. She got her hair wrapped up in a ball, you know, in a bun. She got on the helmet that they provided her. I think they gave her the rubber band. Her hair comes down, gets caught in one of the wheels or tires of the go-kart. The go-kart is still going and she gets scalped, and she has made her transition. It's all fun and games until somebody is dead going to go-kart. Right. I was like, wow. So rest in peace to her and her family. I know that was traumatic. Like, you're right there and you're seeing it and you're like, wait, stop up. And then, you know, now she made her transition. So I always wonder, like, you know, when you watch these movies and stuff, even on Underground, I'm like, now, why does baby girl, you know, the main character who ran away with the first light-skinned girl who ran away with the first dark-skinned guy, the first main characters, why does baby girl not have her hair braided up? She out here running in the wilderness and she has curly hair. You know it's going to get caught in something and it's going to get tangled. We know we have to keep our hair braided to keep our, you know, you have to protect. You can't be out here, you know. And then she even got her, remember early on the first season, she even got her hair caught in a bramble and she ain't braided up. I think that was just like for TV, because in the real world, you know, that's like you running and I'm going to keep my high heels on. Oh, someone's chasing me. I'm going to run. Oh, I'm going to, you know, you keep your hair covered up so can't nobody grab you up. Like I'm an expert fighter. But anyway, I'm sorry to hear about her hair getting caught in the go-kart. And it sounds like they tried to take precautions Chinese woman joins handbag in x-ray machine. They like, you got to send your handbag through. Oh no, because I'm not going to have y'all steal it. Well, you can go through with it. And she sure did. She got right up on the x-ray machine with her high heels. So they had an image of her on the x-ray machine with her high heels on all fours next to her bag. Because she didn't want, I guess, somebody to steal her bag. Now, I've often thought when I send stuff through security, like, is my passport going to be there? Is my, you have that moment. I don't think I'd be going through the x-ray machine. First of all, because I'm like, is that safe? I don't even like to stand next to the x-ray machine, let alone go through it. And that's what they said. She can't be doing that the next time because it's not safe. The people who sit there and work next to it all day, what do you think they're getting? Berlin rejects #MeToo call to swap red carpet for black at tonight's festival opening. There's some artistic festival. The people, instead of the people wearing black to talk about Me Too, they want to have a black carpet. And the people who were organizing it were like, no, we gonna go for a red carpet. We say no to the Me Too. German lawyer cheesed off with endless pizza deliveries. Now, you've heard of this prank, or I don't know, where people will call and be like, yeah, send 800 pizzas over to, and they'll give the person's name and address. And I guess that's supposed to be funny or mean or harassment or, confusion. It seemed like it really just hurts the person who is the company that's making the stuff. But this man has been getting deliveries for pizza and all kinds of stuff. Like sometimes in the morning when he's getting ready to go to work, he'll be getting confirmations of 80 pizzas coming from this place, 100 pizzas coming from this place, or whatever. And I skimmed the article. I can't remember who's doing it and why. I think they don't know who. They think it might be like a disgruntled client. He can't even work. He say, I can't even get work done good because all these deliveries keep showing up for him from all of these random. Sir, we have your 70 sandwiches you ordered. And he didn't order the sandwiches or the pizza. So he's cheesed off, the headline said. London may force Uber to introduce women-only Uber pools. I guess the Uber pool is like when you get in the car and somebody else could get in with you and they want to have. Now, London has Uber is not legal in London, or it's been illegal and now they're just letting them come back online, but they have some rules for them. You can't just be out here operating any old kind of way. And one of the rules they have is that we want you to introduce women-only Uber pods. And I don't know if women have been feeling unsafe being in Ubers. I've been in an Uber or maybe the other brand once, a Lyft, once in Atlanta. My cousin's wife sent a Uber to pick us up from the airport. But I used to take, when I lived in Brooklyn, at my job, I had an account with a car service. Now, usually the cars would be black, like Lincoln Continentals. I don't really know cars, but they basically almost all look the same. But occasionally they would send another car. But I never had any problems. When I lived in New York, I took cabs, not all the time. I took the subway, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know, like, is Uber some unique thing? Like, it seems like if you wanted to, like, kidnap up and rape people, I guess you could have been a taxi driver before. I don't know what's going on with that. But it's interesting because another story that's going to come up in terms of this woman-only situation. And it's sort of like, is something to me wrong with the society? Just like we talk about, well, why do we have Black History Month? Or Black History Week, or I'm talking about Black History Quarter. I'm just being silly when I say that. But because people don't know, like you can't really get in a month what people need to know. And you're really not impacting the society in a progressive way in only 1 month. And a lot of times we be like, Black kids need to know, the whole society need to know. Because if just like the white kids, they being trained up that, Black people ain't nothing, we're superior, we're better, whatever, all over the place, they're still training them up. So if you're not, as a society, addressing the real issue, then you're not addressing the issue. So if you take the women, we gonna separate all the women out over here, you're not really addressing the issue that, like, what's the issue where women can't walk down the street and be women? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on that we're not safe? That's the underlying issue. Don't segregate us out. Let's make this society work so that every human being can be a human being and be a free human being. Viola Davis to Hollywood, pay me what I'm worth. I saw a tweet yesterday and the person was like, pay Viola Davis like you pay a white woman. I'm like, shoo, don't pay her like a white woman, pay her like a white man. That's what I thought. Cyril Ramaphosa succeeds Zuma as South African president. I told y'all I was just on the phone with my mama last night. She like, Zuma ain't going nowhere. I saw it last night, yesterday after I talked to her. Zuma done resigned. So Cyril Ramaphosa succeeds Zuma. Mega church pastor with $230,000 Bentley accused of sucking the community dry. I don't know. Thank you for the like. I don't know if he's sucking the community dry or not. But I don't like, just like the Pope, the Pope that they have now, the Catholics, when he came into office and they're like, oh, we're going to give you your, $8 million Pope shoes. And he like, no, I'm cool. I already got shoes. I don't need shoes. Oh, we're going to put you up in the Pope mansion. He like, no, I'm going to stay here. It seemed like if you're about the business of spiritual growth and development and supporting other people in their spiritual growth and development, then what does a $230,000 Bentley or special Pope shoes have to do with that? I mean, it doesn't really seem to fit to me. Now, they say that this person has some other sources of income, but it just seems like it makes me kind of feel suspicious of, right, it makes me, I'm not saying you're not credible, but I'm just saying it makes me suspicious about your credibility. Like, what are you really doing? What's really going on? So I don't know. Where was that at? I don't know what community that was in. I feel like it was someplace in the States, but I don't know. Thomas Sankara, the African Che Guevara, who I've heard his name before, but I promise you I don't know who he is. So when you say that Thomas Sankara was the African Che Guevara, the reference is lost on me. It's like gone over my head. Who tried to save Burkina Faso from French imperialism. Now, I'm all in favor of saving everybody from French imperialism, because as soon as I learned about 4 or 5 years ago about Haiti having to pay, and I'm like, how do you get free and then somebody force you to pay them money? Because they came with their army. What happened to our army? We fought for 10 years to be free. So now we're going to let them bully us and punk us into paying them money for years and years and years and years and years. And they did that all over where they colonized the French. And I'm sure other people as well. Look, I'm all hot. I'm heated. I'm upset about that. I don't understand it. I feel like that's something I need to study in depth, because it really, I don't understand how that happens. I feel like we should still be fighting about that right now. No, you're not going to steal me and then pay me because you lost my free labor. No, I'm not going to pay you. You're going to have to kill me. That's it. I don't understand. So I'm all in favor of fighting against French imperialism, because to me, after the little bit of reading I've done about that, I don't have nothing, the French they get the middle finger from me at the very, Burkina Faso means, now they changed the name from whatever it was. I think it was Upper Volta. Burkina Faso, excuse my ignorance, means the land of the upright people. I love that. I think one of my girlfriends is married to a guy from here. So I don't know who Che Guevara is. It makes me feel like, well, maybe I need to research him. And Thomas Sankara. So yay. It's Black History Month. Who want to do the research and educate us? Do a video, tag me in it so we can learn something. I might do some research. But Ethiopia Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn in surprise resignation. The Prime Minister of Ethiopia resigned in a surprise, and it's happened either yesterday or this morning. So what's going on? I mean, I told y'all, even though there's somebody on the YouTube who does Twi language, I told y'all I wanted to learn Ethiopian. I'm like, I need to learn the Ethiopian language. I need to think outside of English. I need to decolonize my mind and my language. And I said, well, I'm going to learn, some Ethiopian language, because they've never been colonized by, the Europeans for the most part. So there's something probably built into their psyche, their language, their culture that I could benefit from. So what's going on? I just started paying attention, so I don't know. Does anybody know what's going on in Ethiopian? Haile Mariam Desalegn. I don't know how to pronounce his name. A new study reveals how much money you really need to be happy, and it's less than you think. How much you think it is, according to the research? This is actually, I think it's an old story, an old study. So I don't know why it's coming up on my news feed, but I've seen it before. The numbers seem to be about the same. It's anywhere from, I think at 60,000, you're relaxed, and then like at 95,000 you don't have worries. So anywhere between 60 and 95,000. After that, you're just chasing drama and BS and stress and $230,000 Bentleys when you say you a spiritual man leading a church or woman. Was he a man or a woman? I assume he was a man. The FBI knew about a YouTuber using the name Nicholas Cruz. Now, this is the child who killed the people yesterday at the school, who said he would be a professional school shooter 5 months before the Florida shooting. Y'all, he was up in somebody's comments saying he's going to be a professional school shooter. That's like his aspiration. He had a vision for it, and he wrote it down. He put that out into the universe before it happened. That's what he wanted. That is really just very disturbing. Like, it's some people out here. I mean, I guess we all know it. It's some people out here who are really sane and beautiful, wholesome, healthy human beings. And it's some people out here who are crazy. This child, he is 19, but to me, this child is out here, and the FBI knew about it. But I guess there's so many, people out here saying crazy stuff. You can't arrest and detain everybody who, and why are we waiting on the FBI to save us? Have they ever saved us? Were they designed to save us? Is anything in the system designed for us? The chains and the shackles, that was their only vision of a design for us. Nope, right. Does America have a gun problem or a mental health crisis? Classmates recall disturbing behavior from gun-obsessed shooter. I say yes and yes. There's a gun problem and a mental health crisis. People, we're like, this whole country is crazy to me. Like, I think racism is a mental health. I mean, like the whole world. It's a lot of crazy ideas out here. Toronto firefighter who went missing in New York was found in California. Was he trying to escape? Like, you know how people want to disappear, and then when they found him, he like, I don't know how I got here, or did something really happen? I don't know. Oxfam scandal, UN aid agencies fear backlash. They need backlash. They need a backlash not from this system, but from the system of God and good and truth and rightness. They need some serious backlash, to me. Doctor Strange opening day scores 5.2 million in overseas. Oh, Black Panther, that was the top of the headline. Black Panther pounces on UK to top Doctor Strange opening day. Black Panther is already open in Britain. So some of these people have already, not just last Thursday, I guess the people in this country got to see it, but now in Britain, it's already open. Scores 5.2 million in 3 overseas markets Tuesday. I don't know. I probably, even though I'm caught up in the hysteria of everybody, Black Panther, I don't even know if I'm going to go see it on Friday. Because I don't know if I want to be in all the mess and confusion. And I don't already have a ticket. And when they were selling, when I saw people selling out houses of Black Panther tickets last year, I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I told y'all, right? I'm not letting you hold my $15, $20 for a year. I'll get tickets when they come out. And now I'm like, I'm waiting a few weeks. Right. Now I'm like, if I go to the theater and try and see it, is it going to be sold out? Is it going to be annoying? And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll go like at, 10 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. But then plus in Detroit, it ain't hard. It's one theater. It's far east. Well, it's some theaters in Detroit, but not very many. Most of them are in the suburbs, but it's one theater in Detroit that's playing it. And it's far east. It's like a production. I'm like, do I really? I'm not into comic strips and stuff. I'm just caught up in the excitement. I don't have no special outfit. I mean, can I just roll up and be like, yeah, I'm here to see Black Panther. The people might beat me down. I don't know. So I'm going to wait a few weeks too. U.S. intelligence agencies warn buyers to avoid Huawei smartphones. Now, I think that, so a lot of these big corporations like Sprint, T-Mobile, or whatever are not carrying them because I guess they're made by the Chinese by a Chinese company, and there's some concern that, you know, they're like spy phones. Like, these are spy phones anyway, aren't they? For the longest time, I had seen something on Black Mirror, and then I put tape over the cameras on my phones and stuff, because I thought, you know, and then when I took the tape off and tried to take pictures, I could never seem to get the glue totally off my my thing. So it's like I messed up. So I just stopped putting the tape on. But why haven't they developed something that goes over your camera? You know, like, enough people know about it. Big people in tech know that it's an issue. Why haven't they developed some little something you could pay $2 for that safely covers your camera? I needed somebody to develop that for me. I'd have bought it and used it. Judge rules police justified in handcuffing Black teen after they shot him. Now, this is from a couple years ago. I think that this incident, I don't remember the brother's name or the young man's name, but I think this incident is from like 2012. You know, it's like, oh, it's not, I mean, it's older. It's not like a new recent study. But I guess the judge just made the ruling, and so that's what makes it new. But anyway, police, Black police officer. Oh, we talked about that. These, you know, I noticed these kind of stories really, or I don't even want to say these stories, but having this reality come into my consciousness, it's like it seems like it's more and more challenging to stay. He had cuffs on him because he was in fear for his life after he had already shot him. He was in fear for his life. He had to cuff him because he was in fear for his life. What he needs to fear, the handcuffs ain't gonna stop. So, you know, fear the wrath of God and try to use handcuffs to stop that. That's their party line. That's their line, but they don't. That's the story they always use, right? That's their line, but yeah. And I'm kind of having mixed feelings about, I'm reading, what's this book I'm reading? The Underground Railroad, because it's speculative. And I'm kind of like, I guess this is my first introduction to speculative fiction. Maybe one of Octavia Butler's books was speculative because it was set, but I don't know. I'm kind of having some mixed feelings about it. Black officer fired after confronting Confederate flag wavers at Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. So that's the story I was talking about earlier. That's the museum that's right next to like the Mississippi We Hate Black People Museum or whatever it's called. I think. I got to research it. Fantasia Barrino's nephew shot and killed in North Carolina. So rest in peace to that young man and to his family and community. You know, not because Fantasia Barrino is someone who, you know, whose name a lot of us know, but just because, you know, it's somebody's child and nephew and cousin and friend, and it's a lot. It's like, you know, it's a lot. So just, you know, peace for all of us. Fighting sexism. India's police ask, when is women only good for women? So they have some police stations in India where they only have women working there in one community in India, one city, state, whatever, one jurisdiction. So, but we were talking about that earlier with the Uber. So the person who started it thought it was a good idea, and now they kind of feel like the women need to be integrated throughout the police stations wherever. Sometimes they have women who travel for long distances to get to this police station so that they can talk to a woman about what's going on because they feel that a woman would understand them. And I guess their experience, some people's experience of the society is so misogynistic and so, you know, against them that they feel like they can't just talk to a man. And so these five, I think it's like 5 police stations, they're like really, really popular and heavily used. And I think that maybe 3 or 5 years ago, there was a young woman who was raped on a public bus. The rape lasted an hour and nobody interceded. And I think I saw in the thing that the cops did, in the article, that the cops didn't intercede, the witnesses didn't intercede. And I was kind of like, so I don't understand. So the popo, they just standing there watching somebody be gang raped, like for an, like how, But this caused like a big uproar throughout the country and throughout the world. I did hear about it when it happened. I've spent time in India. I was not a woman traveling. It was in India. I was not a woman traveling alone in India. I was traveling with my first husband. But, I never felt, and, being a foreigner, of course, your experience is going to be different. I never, and, I guess also like, I wouldn't have been, had my clique, I was kind of conservative because I knew that it was a relatively conservative culture. And like, I was really trying to blend in, but I did not blend in. There would be children on the street pointing at me and laughing at me. And when I finally asked a woman, like, well, why, what's going on? Because I'm a part of a meditation community. She's like, well, it's because of how you so aggressive. I'm like, I'm not aggressive. But, she was just like my American way. I like walk a certain way. And I'm just like, I just look like a mess to the children. And so they were laughing at me, like just on the street. Not, everywhere I went, but it happened a few times, enough for me to notice, like, why the children laughing at me? I don't think I'm funny. So yeah, this whole conversation about having woman-only police stations or woman-only this, we need to make societies, safe for human beings to thrive and grow and develop and be human beings. Like, and I don't know what the path is to getting there. So maybe those systems are a path to get there. I don't know. Like maybe Black History Month is a path to us having greater consciousness of the contributions of, African people throughout the country, throughout the world. I don't really know. I don't really celebrate Black History Month. Sometimes I like participate in events at the museum, but the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History here in Detroit. But if, I go year round. So it's not like I only go to the museum in February. I go whenever it's something that looks interesting to me, if I can fit it in my schedule. Report nurses, cooks forced to fill in at federal prisons as they run low on guards. Maid left to sleep outside with the dog dies. Now, this is somewhere like in Indonesia or Malaysia. I read the article, but it was sort of like in my head, the countries were all like lumped together. Like they're all like kind of in that region of the world. But I guess one of those countries is a wealthier country. So they get a lot of people who come in from the other countries to work. And I guess they're known, because we heard probably 3 or 4 years ago about the woman who threw the woman off the balcony who worked for her because she was just like, you just a slave. So, who cares? So we hear about crazy stuff coming from that part of the world, but it's still not clear in my head. I've never been there. I don't have any. But she was outside sleeping with the dog and died. She had open sores on her that hadn't been treated. People, our cruelty sometimes is just like really, it's a reflection of how underdeveloped we are as human beings. Like something is like, we're like, yeah, something's wrong. Or I don't know, we just have a lot of room for growth and development in being human, like human beings, like grown-up human beings. Bronx principal who banned Black history lessons now accused of taking away students' project. So don't want no Black history lessons going on, especially not during Black History Month, said this principal in the Bronx. I worked in a school in the Bronx for a union, but I was the representative in the school. But the child had done a project, if I'm not mistaken, on Lena Horne, because I think I saw a project, an article later on or somewhere else where Lena Horne's progeny, grandchild or whatever, reached out to the child and, was like, hey, and to the school was like, no, but, The Penn Center, African American Cultural and Educational Center, and I think that's like in the Georgia CIO regions. It was one of the early schools for Black folks when we were freed from enslavement. When that happened, I guess that when Angela Davis Archive acquired by Harvard Library. I was kind of like, I don't know how to feel about it. Now, I'm named after Angela Davis. When I was in high school, I tried to read some of Angela Davis's work. I couldn't get through it. And I haven't tried again as an adult because I think I was just so stressed out by not being able to get through it. Like, it was just like really heavy. But Harvard, I mean, I guess like in some contexts that's prestigious, but in other contexts, I'm like, what's Harvard going to do to Angela Davis's archives? MIT course confirms the school's founding president supported slavery. And this is news because rich white men with property and power have not been supporting slavery, the enslavement and subjugation of non-rich white men with property and power. I mean, that's news. Why Marvel spent more on the Black Panther budget. They say it was a whole nother universe. I don't really know. I guess I don't care. Read about the Black-led school for project children. This is coming off of Financial Juneteenth. I don't even know. I might have skimmed the article. I can't remember it now. I gotta go, y'all. Man offered $200 voucher after Delta employee curses him and calls the cops. He had it on tape. I'm like, $200? And you curse me and call the cops on me? And you gonna offer me $200? I just don't feel that that's enough. I don't know how he felt, but I feel like cursing. You cussing me out. You on your job and I have a question about my flight being delayed and you cuss me out. I feel like $200. You a professional. You at work. I don't care how. And I don't think he probably didn't even come at her anyway. But you the one that's at work, not me. Anyway, these airlines. Lizette Cuesta, U.S. teenager named killers in last breaths. They stabbed her, threw out the car. She dragged herself. They could see her blood trail. She dragged herself to the road so somebody could find her. And when the people found her with her last breath, she said their names or, her accused killers. So rest in peace to Lizette Cuesta and, may justice prevail. Angela Bassett reveals her twins experienced racism at a young age. And that kind of disturbed me. I don't understand how. I feel like we should not have our children, especially if we have options and we have resources. Our children should not be any place where they're going to experience anybody treating them with anything other than love. And I feel like were her children like in some white or some, like where were the children at that they were experiencing racism at a young age? Because I feel like the children should be with conscious people that you know and love and that love and know and love your children, family, friends that have a consciousness. Why are her children, the children were 2 or 4 years old, young? Why are they out here fending for themselves against this bull? I feel like as parents, especially if you have resources, we got to protect the babies. Like, what's Miss Angela? What a wine. And Vince, what's her husband's name? Y'all, what you doing now? You can't be trust. Mardi Gras parade turns sour after folks on float give parade goers blackface figurines. I've been to Mardi Gras. There's the Zulu Nation Zulu parade group. They give out stuff that's painted black. So at first I was like, is that Zulu they talking about? But I don't think it was a black I don't know. South Africa's Jacob Zuma resigns after pressure from party. When you have means and resources, you can afford to shield them. Courtney Vance is her husband. Courtney and Angela shield the children. Y'all got the resources. That's what it's one thing. Yeah. Really? Brazilian samba school draws controversy after dancers pay homage to black women in blackface. This whole blackface thing and people, I didn't know it was offensive. I thought I was paying homage. The fake ignorance, it's like an escalation. So it's in the news more and more. I don't believe it. And Brazil has a history. The Brazilians already know, just like in America, you can't say, because Brazil is like 65% black and brown folks, at least. So they have a history of, I hate when they play dumb. Me too. That's like the little old white lady. This is when I really realized they were playing dumb. I guess before I was like, when the little old white lady who did the black and brown eyed experiment with the children, she's continued to do, work on racism or whatever. She was with a group of white folks, and she's like, okay, so I want to ask y'all a question. Anybody who would trade places with black folks, stand up, raise your hand. Nobody stood up, raised their hand. She like, well, you must not understand me. I'm saying if you would trade places with black folks, because especially now they be talking about how great and how wonderful black folks have it. If you would change places with black folks, raise your hand. And none of them raise their hand. She like, that's because that it's jacked up out here for black folks. She ain't say it in that language. But I watched that. I'm like, she right. They know. They just be acting like they're ignorant. And I don't know if I'll always remember, but when I was a student, I remember meeting with administrators at my college. And I was like, we need to have more black professors. We need to do this or whatever. I thought I was like real brilliant and smart. And like, I got the answers. Now that I'm here, we got the answers. We sitting down at the table. I got the answers. I remember going through the archives of the Barnard Organization of Black Women, who at that time, back in the day when they started the archives, they were called BOSS, the Barnard Organization of Soul Sisters. And I love that name. I remember going back through the archives of BOSS and seeing that some of the same administrators that I was sitting down with had sat down with them 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and had the same conversation. And when I said it, they were like, oh, Angela, you're so smart. I'm like, I know. They fake it. They playing dumb because they figure I'm only here for 4 years. It's going to take me a year to get oriented. A couple years I can do some activism or whatever. Then I'm going to be trying to figure out what I'm going to do after I graduate. So I ain't got time to really do nothing other than, for them to like play dumb for a while and, have me feeling like I did something. Florida shooting, at least 17 dead in high school attack. We didn't talk about it, but rest in peace. I guess as long as the, even for them, as long as because we're not the only ones that are getting shot in this one. It's affecting them too. It's affecting white people and rich people and, but I guess as long as the gun lobby is happy and paying people, those people are willing to sell their people out. And I guess that's always the way it's been. The rich white men with property and power, the 1%, that small percentage, they look out for them and forget everybody else. And you think the white people think they in an alliance with them. They don't care nothing about them. So peace to the people who made their transition. I guess this country is so vile and so violent that, I guess that's just the nature of being in this country. I guess we just need to get used to it and bow down to the NRA and, let them keep giving them people money and, how this black dominatrix uses her white male clients for emotional reparations. So I saw this. I don't know if y'all already saw it, but I saw it a couple of days ago before it actually came across my newsfeed, maybe on Twitter or something. But she had him reading black feminist text and discussing it. Because she said, she asked him, well, why do you want me to dominate you? And they're like talking about like, well, it's a fetish. You black and you the black woman, you the strong black woman. And she like, well, read this about fetishizing black women and beat them and then read this. And what did you learn? And, they say that they, I guess one of the people said that now he opened the door for black women. I feel like that's a whole big conversation and we're not going to have it on notes on the news feed because it's just notes. But that came across my news feed. So that's what I got today. We've looped back around to the beginning. Thank you so much for being here, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of those other good things. I would ask you if you had any other news stories, but I think I'm about to run out of light. It's not dark in here yet. Thank you. You have a unique channel and delivery. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to the next one. Peace to you, sis. I will be shouting out your channel on my next share. That's so sweet. Dang. Yapo Yapo. No, because you have that A with the O and then the I. Like I was looking at your graphics on your channel. So I can't shout your channel out because it's if you write down these letters and go to this channel. If you aren't pissed off, Iyapo, you aren't paying attention, Yapo. Iyapo Yapo, go to that channel, check them out. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You are the #1 stunner. Stay encouraged. Stay connected to whatever keeps you spiritually fed. Stay fighting. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to come and get this comment. To come and get this content or this comment about the content. But it helps the channel in the vibration to share, comment, like, and subscribe. So do that. And be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. And I think I'm going to do Black Lightning. Although I don't know what I have time to do. I'm stressed out. But that's what I got. Peace.